Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Cold-Blooded Conversations, where every week we take a deep dive into the life of a different herp species. For those of you new to the pod, every week we hear from subject matter experts about their research on awesome herps.
That's right. This week we will be learning about the elusive olm, as suggested by Patreon user OlmLover2000.
But first, a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Slippy Slytherin Shoe Shine. Do your shoes need a little extra shine? Make them as smooth as a snake's belly with Slippy's. Their patented, eco-friendly formula uses 100% snake oil, no snakes were harmed, to give your shoes the glistening, slithering finish they deserve. Slippy's Slytherin Shoe Shine, where every step feels like a slither.
Now, back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Proteus Anguinus, also called the Proteus, or human fish. The olm is a secretive, fully aquatic salamander native to the limestone cave freshwater lakes and streams in the Dinaric Alps of Eastern Europe, and it's been observed up to 113 meters below the water surface.
This amphibian is a paedomorphic species, retaining external gills through adulthood. This cave salamander is mostly blind and lacks all pigment in its skin.
This salamander can typically reach around 12 inches long, or 30 centimeters for our international crowd. Their diet consists of small crustaceans, snails, and insects. Then they'll generally eat anything that they can fit in their mouth.
Olms are well known for their extraordinarily long lifespans. Scientists estimate that they can live up to 100 years old. These creatures are a national treasure in Slovenia, playing an important role in ecotourism in the Baltic region. So much so that it was once featured on the 10 Stotinov coin. I don't know the exchange rate, but this coin is priceless.
Unfortunately, it has since been phased out due to Slovenia switching their currency over to the euro since joining the European Union.
A great tragedy of our time. Dang it, European Union! How could you take this away from us?
Anyways, time to hear from our first guest, Robin Coetzee, an expert on olm sensory adaptations. Welcome to the pod, Robin.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we've established that olms are a bit of a wacky amphibian. I mean, just look at them. They're freaky looking.
Absolutely.
So why is it that they look so strange? How is this beneficial to them?
The olm has quite a few cool adaptations, and a majority of this is due to them living underground.
Makes sense.
One of the main adaptations they have is their skin. See, their skin, they do have eyes, their skin goes over their eyes, and this allows their skin and eyes to be photosensitive. Their skin and eyes need to be photosensitive because they need to know when they're outside and need to go back into the cave to be safe. Although it is shown that they go outside during the dark, possibly as hunting habits. Another adaptation includes their senses. They have the best sense of smell out of all the herps, period. They also have very specialized ears and a lateral line system, which allows them to detect prey in their surroundings easier.
Interesting.
Now, they don't have a lot of cousins well known, but one of them is the black olm.
So what exactly are we looking at here?
Here we can see the differences between the black olm and the olm. The black olm has fully developed eyes, they have shorter appendages, and they also have darker pigmentation due to their exposure to light.
All right, that is very interesting. Thank you, Robin.
Our next guest is an expert on olm biology and reproduction. Please welcome to the pod, Ellen Gunnufson.
Thanks so much for having me. I've been listening for a long time.
We're excited you're here. So let's get into it. We have established that the olm can live for 100 years. Are they reproductively active all that time?
That's a really interesting question. But before I answer that, I'd like to share that all of the data we have on olm reproduction comes from captive populations.
Oh.
We've never seen eggs or larvae in the wild because their habitats are so difficult to access.
Interesting. So, what do we know based on captive populations then?
From these captive populations, we've seen that olms reach sexual maturity at about 15.6 years of age, which is quite old for an amphibian. Females have low overall reproductive rates. They only reproduce every 12 and a half years, but they can be reproductively active for over 30 years.
That's a long time.
It is, and we've seen that some olms are capable of reproducing at over 80 years of age.
That's crazy. Don't know many animals that can do that. So we're guessing that olms lay eggs, right? Do they have large clutches?
Yes, olms are oviparous, which means they lay eggs. The average clutch size for a captive olm is 35 eggs, but the hatch rate is only 40%.
Oh, okay. While we're talking about reproduction, do olms have temperature-dependent or genotypic sex determination?
Actually, we don't know the answer to that yet. Their sex determination mechanism is still unknown.
That sounds like a great area of future study. Well, we're running out of time. Before you go, we have one more question for you.
Ask away.
In your latest paper, you mentioned that understanding the olm's genome may be helpful in human medicine. Can you elaborate on that?
Ooh.
Yes, to put it simply, olms have the ability to fully regenerate lost limbs or damaged organs. So if we're able to apply that same mechanism to humans, we can allow humans to heal faster or solve problems such as obesity and aging.
That is fascinating.
Thanks for being here, Ellen.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
That wraps up another episode of Cold-Blooded Conversations. Thank you to our newest Patreon contributors, Hank Green, Bill Nye, and Dr. Nicole Valenzuela. We could not do this podcast without you. Come back next week for an episode on the amazing spider-tailed horned viper. See you then!